Hey everyone, welcome back. If it's your first time on my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. But other than that, y'all already know why I'm here. If loving you is wrong, this is season 3, episode 17, In God's Hands, okay? And the title of the episode says a lot, okay? It's gotten so bad on If Loving You Is Wrong that they had no choice but to turn to God, okay? And let me tell y'all, this was a good episode. Like, it really was. I was pleased. So much happened. So I'm going to try to keep this tight, okay, and not take up all your time. But, hey, I'll try, okay? Okay, so of course, it always starts off where it left off. Starts off with Alex in her lowest point, okay? She, at this point, is in Randall's shed, and she just wants him to leave her alone. Like, she's tired of all the back and forth. She can't play this game, even though, she did go and call her racist parents to try to get him killed. I mean, she went far. He hasn't tried to get her killed, but whatever. She can't take it at this point, okay? So she is, at this point, she's like, we think, like, is she going to have sex with him? Is she not? Whatever. So he's telling her, take off your clothes. And Alex is like hesitant, but then she covers up and she's like, I can't. Like, she thought she was going to be able to do it, but she can't. So then Randall says, so if I were to just drop everything, like, you were going to just sleep with me? And she's like stumbling over her words, and she's like, no, I wasn't, like, I'm sorry, I just can't. Honestly, I'd rather just be at peace with you rather than to be your enemy. I mean, really, why can't we be friends? Okay, kumbaya. So she already knows they can't be friends because he, like, loves her, or he had a thing for her, whatever. I don't even know what his deal is. So then she just wants him to stop everything, but she doesn't want him to tell Brad, not even that happened, because she knows that Brad will, like, flip his lid, okay? So then Randall asks her, like, he knows that she's vulnerable in this moment, and she's going to do whatever he says, or at least try. So he asks her, like, do you still think about me? Do you love me? So she said yes. Now, girl, we know you lying, but whatever. And then so he's like, well, what do you think about? She was like, how angry I am at you. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, there's the truth right there. But she's still keeping it calm, okay? So then she asked him, like, are you really going to drop this? And he's like, I don't know. It depends on your answer. So he's just playing with her at this point. So then he was like, do you think about sex with me? Because, we had a lot of rendezvous in here. And she says yes. Girl, lying again. Well, I don't know. She might. He asked her the follow-up question, well, is Brad better than me? And I'm like, girl, you better lie. Like, because that's going to hurt his heart, okay? I think that would hurt any man's heart. And then she's like, yes, he is. And he's like, what? So, like, I'm shocked that she's like, she told the truth about that, but I wonder if it's the truth, because she can't possibly tell Randall that he's better than Brad, because Randall's first chance he gets, he's going to tell Brad, and Brad is going to be even more insecure. But whatever. So basically he pressures her into saying that he is better than Brad, because that's the answer he was looking for. So then at this point he knows that she's just waiting around like, look, what do you want me to do? So he tells her to get on her knees. And I was like, Randall, what? Like, hold on, you didn't went too far, okay? Okay, like, it's not going down. So she's like, no, she looks shocked, like, no, I can't do it. And he tells her, okay, because I knew you was playing me, so you can get out, okay? You was just gonna sleep with me just so I can keep my mouth shut. No, you can get out. And I'm like, Randall, you really thought that she wanted you? Oh, okay. She tried to get you killed. But whatever. So before she leaves out, she literally begs him to not say anything to Brad, because she knows it'll get horrible from here. Okay, so when she walks outside, Natalie just so happens to be walking outside in the perfect world of Tyler Perry land. And Natalie is looking at her like, girl, where you been? Why you come from back there? So Alex knows that look on her face. So she's like, look, I'm just trying to figure all this out, okay? Randall knows about the DNA test, and, basically she goes into detail and tells Natalie about the whole camera and how Randall found out. So then Natalie is like, what is he threatening to do? And then Alex was like, of course he's threatening to tell Brad. So then Natalie says, well, Brad already knows. So what's going on? What am I missing here? Alex, everybody sees this hole in your story, okay? You're missing the main point. If he tells Brad, eventually all of this is going to come out in the wash, and they're going to realize that the DNA test said that it was not Randall's or Brad. So then they're going to be looking at you like, girl, you really are something else. But anyways, she doesn't know how to explain that. So she's not saying much. So at this point, Alex tries to flip it on Natalie and was like, blame her. And she was like, well, you told me to be crazier than him. And I'm like, Natalie, you did say that, okay? If y'all listen to my reviews, I said something about that. But whatever. And Natalie was like, no, I'm saying like be smarter than him, okay? Like only be crazy with him when he's being crazy with you. Other than that, leave him alone. Don't talk to him. Don't go in his backyard. Don't speak to him. Going into his backyard will make you lose your marriage. I am telling you. Just simply let it go. Don't say anything to him. If he comes at you crazy, that's when you come at him crazy. And I'm like, okay, Natalie, so you should have been more specific. You know, like just how you told Kelly to like protect herself, not lure the man in and kill him, like whatever. So then Alex basically is like, you know what? I was on my way somewhere anyway. Like she doesn't seem mad. She just seems flustered. She says she has to go and gets in her truck and leaves. Okay, so then we're at the jail. Quick little scene with Lushion and Kelly. She's laying down in her cell. He comes up to check on her like he always does, as well as Esperanza. Ask her if she's okay. Of course she's not. She's like begins to start complaining about her public defender, Carl, but then Lushion says, you know what, don't say anything else to him. I'm actually working on something else for you, so don't worry about that. But he does say he needs to talk to her about something. He thinks that Justice, her son, should see her. Like he needs to hear from his mother what's going on. It would be good for him because he's not doing well right now. So Kelly is like bawling, crying at this point. Like, no, is he here? Oh my gosh. Like he wasn't there, but she was just freaking out because initially she's like, no, he can't see me like this. Like I don't want him to see me in a cell. First of all, I don't know what to say. Second of all, I don't want him to see me locked up like an animal. So no. And Lushion is like, no, honestly, I really think it would be a great idea. A great idea to bring him up here because he needs to hear from his mother in this moment, and I'll make sure that he doesn't see you in a cell. I will get you guys into an interrogation room for you to see him. So then she's like, what did Kelly say? Kelly agrees to see Justice. And then Lushion says, I think this is great that you're doing this because at this point, Justice is kind of blaming himself, for you being in here. Just want to let you know that's why he confessed to murders that he didn't do, because he felt like you were just trying and doing everything you could as a single mother, and he was just trying to be the man of the house and just help and take responsibility because he didn't want to see you hurting. Which I feel like that's how probably a lot of kids feel that have single parents. Like even though they're much younger and they're children, they're like, dang, is this my fault? Like, you know, because she had all these responsibilities and she's trying to be super mom, what can I do to help her? But being that this is like a murder case, he's just a young child. She really does need to talk to him, so then maybe he can pull it together before he totally loses it. Okay, but anyways, Kelly did request one thing from Lushion. She wants a pen and paper to write a letter. And he said, okay, who are you writing a letter to? She said, I just want a pen and a paper to write a letter. Cool. I personally believe that Kelly, this is just my theory. Kelly thinks that maybe she'll be stuck in jail. And just in case, she's probably going to write a letter either to Justice's real father that's actually in jail, either for him to get him when he gets out of jail or just to let him know what's going on. Or she's going to write it to Justice's grandma, which is his father's mother, you know, Aunt Viv. She's going to write it to her so that maybe Aunt Viv can take Justice while Kelly is in jail. So, you know, those are my theories because there would be nobody else she's writing a letter to. Okay, so anyways, at that point, Lushion walks away, calls Natalie, and lets Natalie know that he needs her to bring Justice down to the station to see Kelly. Okay, Natalie agrees to that. So then back at Natalie's house, we hear a knock on the door. She tells the person to come in. It is Randall, which Randall never comes over to Natalie's house. So this is random. He basically comes in to apologize to Natalie. I'm trying to figure out why he was apologizing, but then he tells her, I heard I listened to the tape about the DNA. I'm so sorry for accusing Lushion of being the father of my child when all along it's my child, and for them to switch up that DNA test, like that's crazy. And then Natalie is acting clueless, like, I don't know what you're talking about. She was like, and then he was like, no, I heard, like, when Alex and Brad were talking to you about the DNA test, that's crazy that Dr. Ralstein or whatever, the doctor did something like that. Like, don't you think it could have only been her, right? So then Natalie is like, she looks at him and is like, are you finished or are you done? Okay? Shout out to Birdman from Breakfast Club. And I'm like, Natalie has had enough with him. She literally is in the kitchen, gets her knife, and like pushes it down on the counter and was like, look, do you think I'm stupid? Like, do you think I'm ignorant? You really thought you were going to come out of here and try to fish information out of me? It's not going down, okay? Like, that is one thing. I am hood and I have an intuition, and you're not about to get any information out of me. And Randall was like, I knew it, because you are hood, right? That's when he starts getting shady. And then he was like, of course you're not dumb. Then he looks around at the place and was like, I really like what you've done with the place. Putting up all this Negro art. This is really nice. This looks nice. And I'm like, Randall, turn around and leave, okay? Because he's like perfect at getting under people's skin. But whatever. At that point, she's looking at him like, get out of my house. So he leaves. So then we see Lushion back at the station. He stops Eddie in the hall at the station. Remember, the last time he spoke to Eddie, he was inquiring about Larry's whereabouts, okay? So he asked, Lushion asked Eddie, where have you been? And Eddie was like, shoot, drinking, smoking, getting high, and doing it all over again. So this is a joke to Eddie at this point. And then he's like, Lushion is like, for real, where have you been? So of course Eddie's not gonna tell him. Eddie is like, look, dude, why don't you just kill me then? Okay, like, you know everything, just kill me. And then so Lushion said, you know what? That's right. I do know. You want to see? And apparently he has pictures in his hands that he's used with the tracking device that he had, and shows the pictures to Eddie. And Eddie was like, I don't want to see that. And then he was like, actually, I don't want to see. I want to ask. How do you think that you can use those resources to look for me, those FBI resources? So then Lushion was like, these were resources used on a missing persons case, Larry. And then so Eddie was like, well, how would our bosses feel about you doing all this? And then Lucian's like, look, dude, I don't know. I'm just a local cop. So he's like playing his role. He knows when to shift in and out of it. So then even Eddie says, oh, so you playing that card. Okay, so then Lushion is like, let's just get down to the facts. Where is Larry? And Eddie is like, I don't know who you're talking about. Who is Larry? And then so Lushion is like, look, I get it. He embarrassed you. You probably took him away and you roughed him up, but you need to get him home, and you need to get him home now, very soon. And then so Eddie was like, hey, you need to just give him a call then. I don't know what to tell you. Look, you know what he did to me. You know what he did to me. So then Lushion is like, did you shoot him? And then so Eddie is like, no, because you wouldn't let me shoot him. Okay, there's some honesty coming out. So then Lushion says, our bosses want us to work together. And as much as I want you to crash and burn, this is stupid. He better be in his desk in an hour returning phone calls. So Eddie is like, I still don't know what you're talking about. So then Lushion walks away and says, Lushion says, should I send a squad car to get him? And Eddie was like, do what you want. It's your missing persons case. And then he starts to walk away. So then we see Esperanza walking through the halls of the station. Esperanza comes up behind Lushion, and she's kind of like looking worried and just says, "Hey," and Lushion is like, "Hey, like what's going on? You've literally come around here 5 times today. What's going on?" And she's like, I'm fine," but she still looks like something is on her mind. So then Lushion is saying, "How's Kelly?" Although he just checked on Kelly. Clearly, she's not in a good place. But Esperanza plays him off and was like, "She's fine. I'll check on her later." So then she gets to her real point for going over there. She asks if he has seen or spoken to Steven today. And so Lushion says, "No, I haven't." And then she said, "That's weird because I can't get in contact with him." And then not Eddie, but Lushion is like, did he take a day off? Is this a vacation day? She says, "Oh yeah, maybe he did." Lushion is like, "Is there something you want to tell me?" And she's like, "Nope, it's fine." And she just kind of lets it go. Because, she has to act like she doesn't care since she just went off on him and told him that she's done with him and whatever. She was just tripping that morning. So then conveniently, Eddie walks up to Esperanza, and Lushion is kind of just lurking in the background, like listening to this conversation, because maybe Steven has something to do with this conversation. So Esperanza says, "You know what? Just get away from me. Like, I don't have time for this today." So then Eddie said, "Yeah, how's your little boyfriend doing?" And she's like, "What boyfriend?" And he said, "Steven, of course." And then she's like, "Did you do something to him?" So Eddie's like, "Why would I do that?" She was like, "If I found out that you did something to him, I will turn you into the FBI. So she's like, "I'm not playing with you." And he's like, "Wow, you're getting all hot and bothered. You like him that much?" She's like, "Actually, yes, I do. Now, where is he?" So Eddie, perfect timing, is like, "Well, last time I checked, he was walking out of my daughter's house at 6:16 this morning. Exact timing and everything." So she's like, "Oh, so you're watching my house?" He said, "No, I'm watching our house." Of course, because he still pays the bills on that house. She's like, "Okay, keep watching. I'll give you a show." So she's just kind of like trying to get under his skin. So Eddie says, "A show? You think 3.5 minutes is a show? Okay." And I'm like, "Eddie, I highly doubt it was 3.5 minutes, but haters are going to hate, right?" Okay. So she threatens to get in contact with the FBI again if she doesn't hear from Steven that day. So then all of a sudden, Lushion walks up because he realizes, okay, Eddie does have something to do with this. But he's like basically causing a ruckus in the workplace like he always does. So he walks up and he's like, "Eddie, just go somewhere." And then Eddie is like, "What's it to you?" And then Lushion was like, "Look, dude, what do you want?" And he was like, "Well, I was trying to get a piece of that, but a piece of Esperanza, but you blocking because you all in my business." "Eddie, no, you're not. You're just being a troublemaker like you always are." So then he was like, what's his face? Lushion is like, "No, really, why are you over here?" Because I guess that area of the station was Lucian's area. So Eddie says, he grabs papers off the printer and was like, "Hey, I got an Escada lead." Finally, Escada comes up. Remember, Escada is like the drug lord or something. The crazy guy that like used to be Esperanza's ex, that we haven't heard of all freaking season long because people just disappear in this show and their characters resurface like a whole season later. Whatever. What's his face? Lushion is like, "The only lead I want to hear about is Larry." So of course Eddie tries to change the subject again and eventually just ends up walking away saying he has to get to work. Okay, so then we see Carl, the public defender, walk up. This is all happening in the same time, okay? Lushion is like very popular at this moment. So Carl walks up to him. Carl asks Lushion, "How are you?" Eddie says, "I'm good. How are you?" Carl is like, "I'm fired." So Lushion is like, "What? Wow." And I'm thinking, Lushion, what? Are you just acting dumb? But then later on in the scene, I find out that he is, because Carl says, "Well, you don't seem too shocked by this information." Lushion is like, "No, I'm just trying to find out, why did you get fired? Like, what did you do?" So the public defender tells him that the DA offered Kelly a deal, and she didn't want to accept it. And the deal was like 2 life terms in prison or something like that. And we're all thinking the same thing. Like, that's not a deal. Like, she's never going to get out of jail. And then so Carl is like, but it's better than death. She didn't get the death penalty. So I think it's a pretty good deal, especially because it's hard for me to fight a case like this without any witnesses or any resources or anything. So, and then Eddie is looking at, not Eddie, but Lushion is looking at him like, that's your job. And I was thinking the same thing. So then, what's his face? The public defender pulls out the tape of Kelly basically admitting on camera that she shot Travis, admitting that when she was yelling at Randall. So Lushion is disappointed to see this tape, and he knows like Randall got under her skin. He's so sneaky. That's her neighbor. Oh my gosh, whatever. And then so Carl is like, look, hey, this is going to be really hard to fight, especially when the prosecutor has this tape and I don't have any witnesses or anything. So basically, I'm okay with being fired. Nice meeting you. Nice doing business. Have a great day. Okay. So at this point, Lushion, he's not like, he's a little frustrated, so he decides to go ahead and call Ian. Basically updates Ian that he found Larry. He's going to go pick him up and bring him to him, but he does need to know if he's going to hold up his end of the deal, being that Ian is supposed to hook up Lushion with a lawyer for Kelly. So he says yes. There's a lawyer named Derrullio, and apparently he's Larry's like nemesis, is his rival, and which is good because he's probably just as good as Larry. And Kelly can't afford him, but maybe they can he can start her off or something, like at least make some leeway into the case. But he's gonna have that guy call him. So then Lushion says, okay, I will have Larry call you, Ian, once I get him. So great, that's all settled. So then next thing you know, we see Ian at the hospital. He gets off the phone with Lushion, and Ian walks into Marcie's room. What's his face? Brad is standing right up by Marcie's bed like he's her husband, like her #1 supporter. Literally hate scenes with them, but whatever. So he walks in, and yeah, I'm gonna have to get through this scene because I literally hate dealing with the two of them, but whatever. So Ian asks her, how are you feeling? So Brad speaks up, like Marcie don't have a voice, like she's so like she's sick, like she can't speak. So he's like, she's doing better. And I'm like, bro, calm down. You're not her bodyguard. And then Ian tells Marcie that he was worried about her. Marcie says, thank you. Then Brad asks Marcie if it's necessary for her to sign papers or something right now. She said she wants to. And then Ian says, don't worry about that. I actually already got all of that taken care of, so you don't have to sign anything. But he does tell her he's there with good news, and he looks to Brad and asks Brad if him and Marcie can have a little bit of privacy to talk. And Brad is like, no, you can't. I'm like, bro, you are not her husband, okay? Like, first of all, you need to just leave. Like, you're really overstepping your boundaries, and you're overprotective for no reason. You have a whole wife and family at home. Anyways, so Marcie was like, no, it's fine, if you can just give us some space. So Brad leaves out. Then Ian gives Marcie her divorce papers that are signed, and he said he filed them with the court. Marcie is overjoyed, like this news has made her day. So that lets me know that Larry really did send the divorce papers to Ian. So when Larry had Randall sign the papers a few episodes ago, and Randall thought he was signing lawsuit papers for Brad, he was actually signing divorce papers for Marcie. So great. All of that is worked out and it's filed with the court, but Randall's going to be pretty upset about that, and I'm sure he'll try to fight that. But whatever the case, she's free, so she's happy. Then he's like, what did he say to her? Then he asked her about the baby, and she's like, I don't know yet what's going on. And he's like, well, I wanted to give you this information to help you to feel better. Can I call you later? And she was like, yeah, that would be great. Great. So then Ian walks out the room. He's just thinking everything's normal, but Brad is standing at the door like a pit bull. Like, how dare you, you scum of the earth lawyer, come up here with some work. She's in there about to miscarry, or she could potentially miscarry, and you come up here for her to sign some papers for your house. And he's like, bro, chill out, because I didn't even come up here for that. And first of all, what is it? How is it your concern anyway? Like, and then he's like, I would think it wouldn't be your concern. And so Brad is like, well, I care about her. He was like, so do I. I want the same for her. I came up here for something totally different. I'm actually concerned about her. And he's just like, of course, Brad is like a little salty and is like, yeah, whatever. And so, you know what? Ian is like, you know what? You have a great day. Take care. And he walks away. So then when Brad walks back into the room, Marcie tells Brad that the papers are signed, but she thought it was kind of weird because Randall wouldn't just easily sign the papers. But, you know, she's thankful anyway. And she's like, that's all that matters. So then we see Lushion walk up to Natalie and Justice at the police station, and he asked him Lushion asked Justice, how are things going? And Justice just wants to see his mother. So Natalie ends up leaving so she can go and pick up her kids, and then Justice follows Lushion and he takes him to the interrogation room. So then there's basically a tearful reunion when Justice and Kelly both see each other for the first time, and I don't know how long now. And he's asking her, like, why are you here? What's going on? And she's honest with him. She told him that she shot Travis, and what she should have done was to continue to ask for help rather than to take matters into her own hands. But we all know that she has been asking for help, and that wasn't working. Perhaps she could have gotten the witness protection program. I don't know. Like, gotten security around her house. I don't know. Because she was kind of at that point where she felt like she didn't have anything else to do. But you don't have to explain that to, you know, the little kid. Just whatever. So she tells him, like, she needs him to focus in school. They're both crying this entire time. He tells her, I don't even want to go to school. Like, there's too much going on. She said, you know what? No, baby, it's going to be okay. I'm going to get a lawyer. I'm going to get help, and we're going to get through this. I promise you, I'm going to get out of here. At this point, we are just putting it all in God's hands, okay? Hence the title of the episode. And I'm like, at this point, that's really all she can do, because it looks bad for Kelly right now, and I don't really know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Okay, so then we go back to the hospital. The doctor walks into Marcie's room, basically tells Marcie, gives her an update that all the tests so far are looking good, so Marcie can calm down a little bit. There's nothing wrong at this point, but she does have 2 more tests to run, but she wants her to stop stressing. So then Brad tells her, like, you know, you're going to be okay. He's reassuring her. But the doctor wants to talk to Brad privately. Marcie is concerned because Brad is just supposed to be there for support. The doctor says, don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with you. Okay, so Brad leaves out with the doctor. So Brad still thinks that this is about Marcie at this point. Like, dude, you're not her husband. She's not going to talk to you privately about Marcie. But whatever. They go outside the room, and the doctor basically says, like, ask, like, how involved is he with Marcie? And basically she wants to be drama free because she's both of their doctors. And she said something like, being that, I have to tell you exactly what she said. With Marcie's baby not being her husband's. And I'm like, what? Because Marcie's baby is Randall's baby. Unless this is something different. Unless, like, it actually is Brad's baby, but according to the timeline, it's Randall's baby. Whatever. They'll revisit that. And then, so he basically says, like, look, Marcie is my friend. The doctor was like, well, y'all seem like more than friends to me. You seem to be intimate. And then, so Brad is like, how is that your concern? The doctor said, well, I've known you and Alex for years. And he was like, oh, so are you a counselor now? I'm like, oh, Brad is getting jazzy, okay? Brad knows how to throw a little bit of shade. Then she was like, no, but I've been told that Alex is in an elevator on her way up here right now. And then perfect timing, Randall starts walking up, okay? Randall, every time he comes walking, it's always for trouble. It's never for peace. Then he goes up to her and was like, "Are you Dr. such and such?" And she's like, "Yes, I am." And he's like, okay, I don't know an easy way to say this, but let's just get to the point. Are you the witch that switched the DNA results for my son? And we're all looking like, oh, dang. Mind you, Brad is sitting right here when all this is happening, too. So she's like, "I beg your pardon." And Randall's like, "Yeah, you did it. Alex told me that you did it. I know you did it." And then, not you told me, Alex said that you did it. So she's like, "You know what? I'm calling security." He's like, "While you're at it, you need to call a team of lawyers too, because I'm going to sue you. Like, I'm suing you for sure." And then she's like, "Look, I don't know what you heard, but you need to leave." So then, Randall steps away so he can call his lawyer. And then Alex walks up. All perfect timing. The whole family is here. The whole blended family. Marcie is just, like, unfortunately missing out on all of this action because she's in the room. So Alex walks up. She looks confused. Randall is taunting her. He's like, "Hey, baby." Because he knows that would make Brad mad. So next thing you know, the doctor's like, "Alex, what did you say to him?" Alex is looking lost, like she's not saying anything, of course. So then Brad steps in and says, "We didn't say anything to him. We would never expose you. We wouldn't do you like that." So she's like, "Expose me about what?" So then Brad is like, "Yeah, you helped switch the DNA results. You know, you helped with the mix-up." So then the doctor looks shocked and is like, "Alex," like looking at her like, "Girl, what did you tell them? Like, y'all love triangle or square is killing me." So then Brad is like, "Didn't you tell her that?" And then the doctor was like, "No, I did not tell her." So the doctor turns to Alex and was like, "Alex, you told Brad that I said that, didn't you? I know you said that." And then so Alex is speechless, okay? Because Alex has been caught in yet another lie, and Brad is giving her opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to tell him the truth. However, she did not have a truth to back up with this lie. So that's the thing. She told a lie, and when you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie, and another lie. But she didn't even have truth to tell him in return. At this point, she really doesn't know who her baby's daddy is. And according to her, she only slept with those two people. So she doesn't know how one or the other can't be the baby's father. Honestly, she should have just took another test. She honestly should have told the full truth and nothing but the truth to Brad. She should tell Brad about the shack or like Randall's shed in the backyard and everything. Tell him before Randall tells him, because Brad is always mad because he is the only person in the situation that's clueless. He never knows anything, so he always feels like he's been betrayed by Alex. If she tells him, then he can do nothing but respect the truth. She should just tell him no matter how bad it is, and they can both go to the DNA place at the same time with Randall and take it and get it over with. Okay? Whatever. But that episode was a great build up to the season finale that is happening next week. I will be here next week. If you made it this far in the video and you're not subscribed, you may as well subscribe. Okay? Okay. Anyways, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Tyler, this was a great episode. It was really good. It just moved around a lot. A lot of storylines came out. I enjoyed it. Okay? Anywho, as always, like, comment, subscribe. It's hot in here, and I gotta go. Okay? Bye.